you say to these folks who say, well, if you tax millionaires, they're going to leave the city, and the top 1% pays 40% of the taxes in the city, so what happens if they leave? What's your response?
Well, that's what I would say. It's like we should take their business, and we run it like for our, like the city ourselves.
So if they take their business to Florida, you feel like you can keep it here?
I mean, they can't leave the building. They can't like just bring their whole entire workforce to Florida, right? They can't bring all of like the resources that they have to like build the business here to Florida, right? That's a whole thing. And that's where we would even say, like, if we're building a real movement, right, to like stop that, we'd also like make it illegal for them to like actually like leave, right? We would fine them to hell if they're gonna try to like abandon their property here, right? Because clearly people do need to work, right? People do need to like, you know, make a living. So.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host Biddy, and I'm here with my co-host Dee. What's up, girl?
Hey, what is up?
What's up? Thank you guys always for joining us this Monday evening. You made it past the dreaded Monday. Oh my god, it was so rough this morning, I'm not gonna lie. 9 a.m. to like 10:15 a.m. went by. It took like 84 years. Like, oh my god, dead in Titanic, I swear. It was so bad. And then like the rest of the day I just went numb and just was like accepting my fate of the grind. But yeah, we made it. And of course, if you want to follow the show, you can do that on X. It's the Real Roma _AK. You can follow us if you like. I'm Elizabeth213A. I still didn't fix my thing on my thing. And also, if you want to follow D, it's Cynical Latina. You could also go to the Q&R code at the top of the screen. That'll bring you right to riseofmiddleamerica.com, which is our beautiful website. Go over there, check that out. It's got all the shows, all the socials, everything you might need, merch and all the good stuff. So definitely check that out. Like, comment, share the show with your friends. Let's get the algorithm pumping. So yeah, talking about socials. Our first story, yeah. I love it. That's the merch right there. Oh, actually, yeah. And the green underneath. It looks good.
Maybe we should do it this way.
But Ice Baby.
Represent.
Yeah. Central Coast. What's up? Yeah. So Discord. They're about to roll out age verification next month for full access to its program. And you guys, it's detailed about, you know, access and clicking on things like that. You got to show that you're age appropriate. So Discord is rolling out age verification globally starting next month. The company announced on Monday, all users will be put into a, quote, teen appropriate experience by default unless they prove they are adults. Age verification will be required to change certain settings and access age restricted content. Discord users will need to be confirmed as adults in order to unblur sensitive content or turn off the setting, and only adults can access age-restricted channels, servers, and app commands. Additionally, messages from people a user may not know are routed to a separate inbox by default, and only verified adults can modify this setting. That's an interesting one right there. People will receive warning prompts for friend requests from users they may not know. and only adults will be able to speak on stage in servers. To complete age verification, users need to either complete a facial age estimation or submit an ID to Discord's vendor partners. The platform plans to add more options in the future. Discord notes that some users may be asked to use multiple methods when additional information is needed to assign an age group. The facial age estimation requires video selfies, which Discord says never leave your device. Additionally, the company says IDs submitted to its vendor partners are deleted quickly and in most cases immediately after confirmation. Okay, we'll see. It's worth noting that Discord disclosed last October that around 70,000 users may have had sensitive data, such as their government ID photos, exposed after hackers breached a third-party vendor that the platform uses for age-related appeals. The breach reflected digital rights activists' concerns over the use of age checks as a way to make the internet, quote, safer. Discord's global launch of age verification follows the company's decision to establish age checks for users in the UK and Australia last year. And as you know, Australia, they just did the whole, social media ban for anybody under 16. So, and it's like a growing trend that other nations are starting to, think about implementing or possibly implementing. So, and then just kind of, goes out here. We do have a post from X, if Brian, whenever you'd like to bring that up, but it's Discord is rolling out mandatory global age verification with major restrictions for teens. Must verify age to unblur sensitive content, adults only, access to age-restricted service channels, safe speaking limited, verified adults, restricted DM, and friend request controls. So that's basically what we already said. And as you can see in the comment section, yeah, people are not happy about it. I'm deleting Discord. Can I verify with one of 70K IDs stolen from Discord in October? You don't know how to protect data. You'll be the first to take the leap, and it will be without me. Good job. You somehow effed up even further than you did before. Data breach goes burr. So yeah, people, like, the consensus of people are not happy about this. There was also a statement on the Discord website that's kind of like under there, but I can just kind of read it. It's just in the post in the comment section, the first one. But it says, let's see. So here's a statement from there. Nowhere is our safety work more important than when it comes to teen users, which is why we are announcing these updates in time for Safer Internet Day. Rolling out teen by default settings globally builds on Discord's existing safety architecture, giving teens strong protections while allowing verified adults flexibility. We design our products with teen safety principles at the core, and we'll continue working with safety experts, policymakers, and Discord users to support meaningful long-term well-being for teens on the platform. That's from Savannah Baladich, who's the head of product policy at Discord. So a couple of things, right? There's the on-device processing the video selfies for facial age estimation, never leave a user's device. There are some kind of weird things with that, like, just off, like, forget about the obvious where people are worried about, the data breaches and then having like your facial recognition data breach and, what implications that could have on you. But also these facial recognition things can be very faulty. They have like a low accuracy rate. So like if you're somebody who has a baby face and you're, older, you might have, I don't know, maybe you'll have some issues, because it's not even just getting on the app. It's like, accepting friend requests, it's going into your DMs, it's doing different commands, maybe adding people. As they said that, anybody under, anybody who's a minor won't be able to go on, Discord, do Discord shows, like, in different things on, on the platform. So, every time you click something, you're going to have to verify your data. You're going to have to put an ID in there of some sort to, verify your age. There is one thing that I will say, though, it's kind of odd because I feel like we're in the balance of this a lot over the past couple of years of whether or not our rights, if like choosing our rights versus safety and this like growing age of technology, and especially with the youth and them just going on these apps. You know, they go into their bedroom, they go on these apps, they're chatting with people. I just seen a press conference in Florida that they arrested some guy in Rhode Island that they were tracking who was grooming an underage girl who lived in Florida. And he was going through Fortnite, you know, Roblox. He sent her Roblox money. He bought her an iPhone so that way he can communicate with her. Snapchat, like all these different apps. And it is a breeding ground for these groomers because they know there's going to be a bunch of kids on here. They're not going to be checking with their parents. Some parents out there are not going to be closely monitoring what their kids are on, what apps are in their phones. And that's like the big part of this all is like, at what point do we say, okay, you're giving so much power to the government because you're rescinding your rights as a parent by your actions. You're not doing what needs to be done to protect your child in this age. Like, you guys know, I mean, even like adults, like who aren't all these platforms, they're on Facebook, like, you know how the internet works. Why are you even allowing your child? Why? Because they might get made fun of in school if they don't have like the latest iPhone. Like, get them a flip phone just for phone calls. Why are they having so much access at 15, 14, 13? It's, what are we supposed to do? What's the answer? You know?
I think it's so hard to like, as a parent, right, to be able to, at least it was when my kids were small, because, you know, the kids have their headsets and they're talking to someone, you could see them. And I had this happen to me when my son was little. One day he was playing some kind of game, but he was in the living room and he didn't have a mic on. And he's talking to someone, and the voice that we hear back is that of like a middle-aged dude.
Oh no.
Like, with a deep voice. And we're just like, who are you talking to? And he's like, oh, I'm talking to my friend. I'm like, there's no reason why you should be friends and having conversations with an old ass dude. But the problem is that from there, it's like, we can go in and block and count, sure, you know, but there wasn't enough parental controls to where we could limit the amount. And maybe there was, but we as parents are sometimes ignorant to how to do those things on these devices, because they you know, some of them took off so quickly technology wise.
Some of them you don't even hear
they
of.
left us behind. Like, they left us like behind on some of this technology where we're just like, dude, where do I even look? Like, you look in the settings and there's tons of settings, you know. I had this situation happen with my daughter. She had an iPad, and I made it to where, because back in the day, even Apple, there were restrictions and stuff. They didn't have like screen time like they do now. It wasn't easy for us to block certain content, but I had to set up on her iPad where she couldn't delete apps. So I would like randomly check the apps that were on her iPad, and I see this one. It's a little tile, you know, it's a little red heart on a white background. It's very innocent, you know, and it reminded me of like iHeartRadio, and I clicked it, and it was like a combination of like Pinterest and Instagram. It was a social media site, and it didn't require an email, age verification, nothing to be on there. And I saw a bunch of 9, 10, 11-year-olds posting like racy pictures. My daughter had posted, not necessarily that they were racy, but like pictures in her underwear and stuff. Like, she posted, because back then it wasn't TikTok, it was Musical.ly. And she had made these little videos on Musical.ly where she's like dancing around her bedroom in her underwear. And she did a whole Britney one where she had a knife and she was playing with the knife. And I was like, that's a knife. And so once I looked through it, I was just kind of blown away. I was really blown away. Like, some of the stuff that she posted made me blush. An adult woman that's been married, you know, I've seen some stuff and I was blushing. I was like, what in the... So, you know, I told my husband. My husband grabbed her iPad and snapped it in half. So
Mm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so she had a flip phone. She always had a shitty phone with no internet access until she turned 15, where she had already gotten past that need to constantly be seeking approval from people. Um, and then now she barely uses, I mean, obviously she's 22, she's in the military, you know, it's a little bit different, but
Hmm.
her priorities shifted, but she doesn't need that constant validation from people like she did when she was just a susceptible teenager, and anybody could have groomed her at that kind of point. So I don't know. It just really freaks me out. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Maybe. You know, I think there's a lot of bots, and not necessarily bots isn't okay. It's a Russian bot. It's a computer. It's a data center that's like or like a bot farm or whatever. No, no, it could be people that are um like have many accounts that are intentional, because I've seen this on X already where you know one person will have 20 different accounts and use it to spam you and report you with it
Mm.
to try to get you into a bad rating.
Hmm.
And from what we had heard, they have these big groups on Discord where they just have this like bunch of haters that
Yeah.
will target accounts that they don't like, and maybe with some kind of verification it'll cut down on some of that activity. I don't know, or account cut back on like one person having 20 accounts. But
Yeah.
with anything, there always comes the flip side to it, where it could be used for nefarious purposes, especially anything that leads with they're collecting our information. It's just it's
I
really
know.
scary. So I hope that it works out well and they don't abuse it. I only use Discord very, very, very small percentage, you know, so will it affect me a lot? No, but I know a lot of people that use Discord like religiously, and I think, you know, those are the people that should have a, I guess, like a bigger say on it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because we're just coming off the heels of their huge data breach. I mean, it hasn't been a full year yet since that happened. So, having that happen and it's still fresh in people's minds to the point where everyone's posting about it, and as a response to this, I don't know, but I do feel like there needs to be some sort of protections on these sites. I mean, everybody was talking about Instagram and how there was no protections that, as far as like people sliding into each other's DMs and, these young girls having conversations with God knows who, or young boys or whoever, on in these DMs, and they were just so freely being able to do this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just hard. It's really hard. I mean, the computer and all of that stuff has been growing since we were young. I mean, it wasn't there the whole time, but I think, I don't know, maybe it was like 10, 12, something like that. It started really growing where everybody was having computers, and then the social media thing happened, and AOL, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember being young and being in these chat rooms and stuff like that, and it
Yeah.
wasn't cool then, me looking back now, like, but and it just kept getting crazier and crazier. And like you were saying, like a lot of parents, like, I think it would be cool if there was some kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a website made for parents where they can go on and they can see in real time all the new apps, with the little photos, and it updates, because a lot of the times the little icon on the screen will update and it'll look different, which I thought was really cool. In the Florida press conference, they were showing like the app, what it looks like. They had like little cards, because like even the Fortnite one, you wouldn't know that that's what that is until like you click on it. So, but a lot of those companies, they need to be looked into, because there is a lot going on in there. And I feel like I said this too when everything happened with Charlie Kirk, and they were going into the Discord and they were looking at, the chat rooms and people, possibly conspiring, to harm him and everything. I was saying, this is not the end. We're going to hear more about them going into Discord, and, you
Yeah.
know, and here we are. So, I mean, that may not be, the reason, but it may have been what allowed it to fuel to the stage, and especially with all these other things coming out.
Yeah.
But talking about more things coming out,
Yes, this one's a good one. So this is from ABC News. And part of me, I was eating popcorn, so I'm like, I still feel like a bunch of crap stuck in my teeth. But
You're
anyways,
going through the cleanup.
yeah, I'm like trying, and I'm like, hopefully they don't think I'm on crack or something. No, I'm literally, yeah, I've got like whatever popcorn. Yeah, it refused to go down, and it's like fighting me right now in my mouth.
Oh
Anyways.
no, I hate it. I
Um,
hate it.
So, from ABC News, Maxwell invokes the Fifth Amendment at closed virtual House oversight deposition. Um, I mean, I don't know what people thought was going to happen with this, but okay. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein, invoked the Fifth Amendment during the closed-door virtual deposition before the House Oversight Committee on Monday, according to Chairman James Comer and others who attended the session. This is obviously very disappointing, Comer told reporters after the brief deposition. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators. We sincerely want to get the truth out to the American people and justice for the survivors. That's what this investigation is about. Comer and oversight Republicans on Monday evening posted video of Maxwell's deposition with the chairman saying, I'm releasing the full video and audio to the American people so the American people could see it for themselves. It was expected that Maxwell, who is currently serving a 20-year sentence in federal prison in Texas, would refuse to answer questions from lawmakers and committee staffers as part of the panel's investigation to the late financier and his ties to some of the world's most powerful figures in politics, business, and entertainment. Epstein, a convicted sex offender, died by suicide in 2019 while at the allegedly suicide. In 2019 while at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City. Maxwell has a petition pending in federal court in New York that seeks to overturn her conviction or reduce her sentence. Maxwell's attorney pointed out a number of times that she has a habeas corpus petition pending for new trial or release. Republican Rep. Andy Biggs said, and that's why she's not going to answer the questions. So, I guess I'll get to it. Asked whether he suspects that Maxwell, who is now in a minimum security prison in Texas, succumbed to political pressure by refusing to testify, Comer said he had no idea. That's really stupid. Unfortunately, she had the opportunity today to answer questions that every American has, questions that would be very important in this investigation, and she chose to invoke her Fifth Amendment. Comer said, despite Maxwell refusing to cooperate, Comer emphasized his committee's investigation will continue with 5 confirmed depositions on the books in the coming weeks, including Leslie Wexner, the retail billionaire who was once Epstein's largest financial client, on February 18. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has agreed to sit for a deposition on February 26, while former President Bill Clinton has agreed to a February 27th deposition. Comer said that the committee will also interview Epstein's accountant and lawyer next month. Big told reporters that Maxwell lawyer read a statement at the outset of the deposition clearing both President Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. I mean, I guess that's a tidbit. One of the things that the attorney for Miss Maxwell said is that she has no indication and would say that neither Presidents Trump nor Clinton are culpable for any wrongdoing. Okay. So if they're asking her to go do a deposition when she already has a habeas corpus, like, and she's trying to get her sentence reduced or overturned, why in the hell would she ever speak in a committee? Like, these committees are such a joke.
It's like going through the motions.
And nothing ever comes out of these committees. Nothing is ever like, oh yeah, okay, committee, and we're gonna sit here and waste. I know you're just wasting our time and our money. Like nothing is coming out of these, and none of these people. And then you vote to see if you're actually gonna indict them and blah blah, blah. And nothing ever comes of them. Like who's actually got
But
it?
like regular Joe Schmoes, they're shackled and brought right in. Like it's just so crazy. And they continuously try to say like nobody's above the law, but
Yeah, I think it's
oh, by the
really.
way, thank you, Funkmaster Flex. I'm sorry to cut you off
Oh
for
no,
gifting 10 memberships. Thank you
ooh,
so
thank
much.
you.
You are the man. Thank you. But yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just really strange to me that they would decide to do this when she clearly anything she says there would incriminate herself for her what was it? I'm trying to
Like
find it.
pending cases and different,
Yeah, her
yeah.
pending case. Like,
Yeah,
oh, we're
it's
so
almost like she's
disappointed. Oh,
using, I know. It's almost like she's using like, whatever leverage she does have. Maybe that's how she was able to get transferred. I don't know. Maybe the transfer is part of some kind of deal that they're working on with her. Maybe the transfer was because they don't want the same thing that allegedly happened to Epstein happen to her while they're, trying to get all the information. I don't know. It does look really like kind of like a dog and pony show, like as you're pretty much implying by saying like, what are we doing every time they have some kind of committee? They all have their sound bites that they make. And, it's like, okay, is it just so that way you can show this while you're running for your next campaign? Or is this actually going to lead to something? We do have a video of Ghislaine Maxwell in Ghislaine. I always say Ghislaine.
to Ghislaine.
Basically pleading the fifth on like the stupidest like the beginning question. You're just gonna be like, what? So let's see.
Ms. Maxwell, were you a close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Yeah, we know. It's like so dumb that
Ms.
like you
Maxwell,
actually
can
even
you,
know him.
anytime,
It's like, how would that even incriminate her at all?
Well, I think
further than she already is. Like, I don't.
yes, and I think obviously the language that they're using too is like, okay, so you're refusing to answer because you can use the Fifth Amendment. You have the right to remain silent. Like it doesn't matter if it's self-incriminating or not. She just stated that she has a pending case. She doesn't have to say anything else, and this person like clearly try to do like, oh, gotcha, and that I just think it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's wasting time. Like, okay, you refuse to speak, let's move on. Like gotcha. Oh, well, you're trying to do it because it's self-incriminating. Shut up, man. She's already incriminated, man. This is like beating a dead horse, and it's really stupid. But
it's like the little crumbs that we get from Congress all the time.
Yeah, they're retarded. Like they're so stupid. Like some of our Congress members is just like, how, like your intelligence level, like you think with so many staffers and all this extra help that you get to research these things, and you make the dumbest arguments. Like you literally have people writing this stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
You come up with something better. Shoot. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I could say it's just it's clear that she would plead the fifth. She has a pending case. It's really not a big deal. And for them to say, oh well, I don't know why she would do that. Come on, dude. Like,
no. She's looking for full clemency too. So she's like dragging all of this stuff out. She's hoping to, to get what? And she basically says like, if okay, so there's like a spot here. Of course, if in the alternative, if Miss Maxwell were to receive clemency, she would be willing and eager to testify openly and honestly in public before Congress in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So she wants to be fully like vindicated of all of this, and she said she will start chirping.
I wonder if
I just don't like
what clemency would constitute. Like what like clemency, like a reduced sentence, or clemency as in like a full pardon. Like I wonder what exactly would get her to speak.
Yeah, like, okay, so the definition is mercy, leniency, an appeal for clemency. So leniency, mercy. I don't know.
That's not a full pardon, though.
Right, like, because if it was a pardon, they would say pardon.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hate this kind of stuff. I really do, because I hate the idea that someone as vile as this woman would be allowed to go free just because she was in a position that she was in to be able to expose all of these people, which is basically what this whole scheme, you know, besides gaining power and all and networking and money, you know, a lot of it had to do with being able to blackmail these powerful figures and have stuff to say against them. So
Yeah.
basically just, you know, it's kind of like the end of the video game. Like she gets to just, okay, now it's the end and you all are exposed. And I don't know if does that have anything to do with the heavily redacted, well, I mean, it wasn't heavily redacted, let's be real. I mean, the 3 million files that were just released, there was a lot of redactions, but there was a lot that was allowed to be seen. There was a lot of videos. People figured out how to change the address so that way it can go to the video and play the videos. And so there was a lot that people were able to see. But I know Representative Thomas Massey and Representative Ro Khanna held a press briefing today after they reviewed the, because they had the opportunity to review the unredacted parts of these 3 million files that were released. They said they were supposed to be able to review these release files that had redactions, but says they still had them as well. They said that there were 6 men that they noticed in these documents who are being kept hidden for whatever reason. Massey said there were 302 files that they were hoping to see unredacted. However, those were redacted before they got to the DOJ, the 302 forms. So that there's a lot of like nuance to everything that like when it finally got to the DOJ, a lot of it was already redacted. So this legislation that was passed to force these files to be released, it was supposed to also direct the FBI to produce these documents with no redaction, because that's where the DOJ gets it from. But who knows? I mean, it was in the SDNY, you know, it was in the New York FBI headquarters for years and years and years and years and years, things that were brought in from Florida. So who knows how many of it was redacted when it, from there to there to here to there before we actually got it. They said they would rather, because, you know, the reporters were asking them, will you say the names right now? And they said, you know, they would rather say the names on the House floor. And they also said something really interesting, that Representative Massey said that he that he's something that he noticed, allegedly, this is what he's saying, but it looked like part of the algorithm that was used, because 3 million documents, you know, 3 million of these files. So they used an algorithm to redact names, and it seems to have been redacting women. Like there was part of an algorithm that was looking to redact women in the files, I guess, to make sure that no victims' names were being released, even though some were. So it might have redacted criminal women as well. It might have just over redacted. He said, like, even some names, like just looking at them, you can't tell if they're male or female. So he said that they said that they want to give the DOJ a chance to go in and kind of fix all that up before they start doing this. They are going to have a Judiciary Committee with Bondi, I think, on Wednesday. So they said that this could be something where they ask these kind of questions. But they did say one of the 6 men is because they were being, kind of pushed by the reporters, that one of the 6 men is high up in a foreign government. The other is a prominent U.S. citizen. So I don't, I don't know if we'll ever see who these people are, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy, because sometimes you feel kind of helpless, especially when you're talking about who these people are.
Yeah. And I think, these people have worked or done these things with impunity for so long, and they got away with it for so long. And this was a lot of paperwork to go through. And I can understand with, the pressure, the public pressure and the government pressure, and like Thomas Massey and Rokana, like, great for you guys wanting to get the information out there, but like, you got to do it by this day. It has to be done right now. It's like, there is so much information to go through. What did you think was going to happen? Like, okay, you got this push. Good for you. And now they're like, oh, well, they redacted the wrong stuff. Well, no shit. Like, what do you think was going to happen? Like, this is exactly why they didn't want to release everything like this, but you guys pushed for it because
because people are running with it. They're seeing something and they're not following the trail to see that it was thrown out, that it wasn't credible, or that these aren't, whatever. And they're just running with it, that they're taking the name and they're running with it. So
yes. And the thing is that I feel like these documents that they had, excuse me, they should have been, someone should have been, maybe a team of people that looked through these and read them and maybe hand redacted some of them, just because it's such sensitive information. And, a lot of what I heard was like, oh, well, they protected the pedophiles and they released the women's names and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, also, if there's a pending investigation, let's say there's 6 names that keep popping up on these, of course they're going to be redacted. These are people that they're going to start investigating, and they're not going to release the names of current investigations or ongoing investigations. It just makes sense that the lack of common sense when it comes to these files, like, of course there's going to be mistakes with what was released. They did it real quick, and they probably put it through an AI system, and it wasn't going to be perfect, especially to do it on such a massive scale in such a short time. And something like this has never been done before. Like, there's never been a huge dump of 3 million files. What was released before that? Like, all the files that were released before that is still a big, but just have such a massive dump. The government is not perfect. It never has been. And we can't expect this to be like handled with perfection. I just feel that it's really weird. There's going to be mistakes, and luckily there's also going to be some Easter eggs on it. Like that one dude in England, like an assistant to the prime minister or some crap, just resigned over the Epstein stuff. Like, it's a good thing that, we are getting a bone thrown at us, and some of these people. Now, is that dude going to face any kind of consequences? Who knows? But at least he's not in a position of power anymore. Maybe they'll sneak him in back later. Who knows? Just like Prince Andrew, they tried so hard. That was his name, right? Prince Andrew. Oh no, he didn't have anything to do. Oh no, now he lost his title. Oh no, he's a pervert. He's a disgusting, like, like, but at least now we got these confirmed things, and they will at least experience public shame to where people know to avoid these people, that these people are human trash. So
right.
At least there's that. If we're not going to get any justice, at least we know who these people are.
Yeah, and there's a lot of arrests that are happening too that could be linked to a lot of these things. If you think of like cells, if you're thinking of this as like a whole organization, right? We were talking before the show about the Lifehouse CEO that was found in the files, and people are going crazy about that because that is the company that handles all the picture taking for the schools from like the 1930s. So, there's things like that where you say to yourself, like, it was very coordinated. So it's possible, like, there was an arrest. I think I just like wrote it down somewhere, but I think it was, 600 people were just arrested in LA and they saved about 164 victims. It was a trafficking bust. The youngest was 13. Male, female, adults, children, are all part of the victims. And it's like, could it be? I mean, not even if it's not part of this. Yes, arrest them, save these people. But it could. Some of these things could be linked. Like, we don't know. There's a lot of things that are going on, and it's just, we're so inundated with so much news that we don't really see it. But I've seen it, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, forgot about it, and just kind of like pass it by, because then there's something getting bombed overseas, or like, you can't like keep up with all of this stuff. But there's a lot going on, and I hate to say it, but yeah, we do have like a really strong FBI, and we have people trying to do their thing, but they're human as well. And look what happened when they used an algorithm. They tried to speed it up. They had some issues with that. They had to pull some things off that they had put up after it was already released. So I just what are we supposed to do? We've elected these people to not only do this, to do massive other things, and just let them do it. Don't fall into that hole, that trap of all the media circus, asking these crazy questions and asking things like, how many times was Trump mentioned in the files? Does that matter how many times he was mentioned? What are the contexts of these things? If he is like, if he's guilty of doing harm to, and what it says in these files, then yeah, like, then he can go to hell as well. Anybody who's done anything to harm children, or anybody. So, but like, that's the thing, is like we were saying earlier, is like people just taking it and just going, well, fuck him, like, he's in there, so is this one, he's in there, so he can go to, it's like, guys, this is exactly why, because you can't, I mean, you're just showing that you can't be trusted with this kind of transparency, because you guys are like, you're muddying the waters too. Like, even there's a girl, Allie Carter, who's been talking about this forever. She says she's a victim, and she's implicated a lot of people. She's talked about it for a long time. She's mentioned that, Trump's never hurt her, and she's never seen him hurt anybody, and she was all up in these situations. So, but I don't know. It's just so crazy. It's so hard to swallow sometimes, like, just hearing about all of this. But talking about information, different things going on overseas, and being inundated with a lot of different information. Coming to you from The Guardian. UK, UN, and EU deplore monumental injustice of Jimmy Lai's 20-year jail sentence. The UK, the UN, the EU rights groups have condemned the sentencing of pro-democracy activist and publisher Jimmy Lai, a British citizen who has been jailed for an unprecedented 20 years in Hong Kong for national security convictions that critics say are politically motivated. Yvette Cooper, the UK Foreign Secretary, said, quote, for 78-year-old Jimmy Lai, 20 years is an effective life sentence following a politically motivated prosecution under a law that was imposed to silence China's critics. The Hong Kong authorities must end Jimmy Lai's appalling ordeal and release him to be with his family. His son, Sebastian, said Lai feared dying alone, while his legal team called him the world's current highest profile political prisoner. The UN rights chief, Volker Turk, said the verdict was incompatible with international law and must be quashed. This outcome highlights how the vague and overly broad provisions of Hong Kong's national security legislation can lead to being interpreted and enforced in violation of Hong Kong's international human rights obligations, he said. Anita Hipper, an EU spokesperson, said the bloc deplores the outcome of Lai's years-long prosecution and called for his immediate and unconditional release. Lai is the founder of Apple Daily, a popular pro-democracy newspaper that was forced to close in 2021, the year after his arrest. Once one of Hong Kong's richest men, Lai was unusual among Hong Kong's elites for also being an outspoken critic of the Chinese Communist Party. He was arrested in 2020, weeks after the imposition of a draconian national security law in Hong Kong. The law was introduced by Beijing in response to months of pro-democracy protests in the territory, which Lai and his newspaper had supported. Critics say that the law criminalizes dissent. The Chinese and Hong Kong authorities say it was necessary to restore stability to the city, which has plummeted down media freedom lists since the law was introduced. You know what I find really funny? When they were talking, and listen, Zelensky can go fly a kite as well. But when they were talking about Ukraine, remember when they were talking about Ukraine, the possibility of them joining NATO, and then they were saying like, but if they find out that they're, trying to push up against democracy, or they're not going to hold elections, or they're going to do certain things that they wouldn't be part of the crew, basically. Even an idea of him being part of the crew is going to get thrown out. But then you have China, China, and they're I think the UK just allowed them to open a new Chinese embassy in the United Kingdom. That's been something that they've been kind of back and forth on, but it's been granted, and the construction is going to supposedly start. But some of the members of parliament were saying, like, we had that as a negotiation thing, and we have this going on right now, and you just kind of gave it to them, like, okay, now they're going to have the embassy here. Why are they allowed to just do whatever they want and then start to creep in? Because like, you hear Canada, the UK, like wanting to do, to work with China, and it's like, why is that different when you see stuff like this where they're jailing people for dissent because they don't agree with the government's actions?
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, to us, this sounds really appalling, right? Like, and I'm not justifying anything they do. I'm just going to play devil's advocate a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at it, though, they're putting their foot down, and that sets a precedent for the people over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we need a little bit of that over here with all these freaking liberals, damn it.
Oh, that's it. That's where we were
That's
going.
where it was going. Like, like all
No,
these
but
people,
I know
like,
what you're saying.
imagine, like, they think like our government is like tyrannical and they got to fight the patriarchy. Look at what's happening in China, dude. Like, this dude is a human rights activist, and I it didn't say in the article that he did anything, protest and nonviolence. It was just his opinion, and now he's getting 20 years in prison, and over here they're like running over agents and freaking hitting them and throwing stuff at them and doxing them and harassing them and all kinds of stuff, and nothing happens.
Like, you're
to these
saying it
morons
stops
over
them
here
from getting to that next level if you...
Yeah, I think Trump needs to go talk to Xi Jinping real quick and take a little, not the whole book, but maybe just a corner of a page.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know. But so like, I know. No, but it's like, this is the thing. Again, we're here where it's like, do we give up our rights for safety, for not having to bump into these psychos, to not having, because that's another thing that they're doing here is a lot of these, like, that we're finding out are most likely being organized and paid by somebody to like push these protesters to go do these kinds of things. It's like, that's kind of like, and because I always say, like, just because they seem they're they come off as crazy, they're doing all this crazy stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean the people that organize these things are stupid. They could also be playing their own 5D chess, to where they're trying to push like regime changes in our country by making all this unrest and making it seem like the majority of people out there are really pissed off at everything that Trump is doing, and all this other kind of stuff. So, like, I get the idea of like saying, okay, now you can't come out and say this. You can't come out and, because it's like, because it's going to lead to this. But it's like, at what point it's like we're going to just become some of these places where you can't speak. We wouldn't be able to speak right now, like the way that we're speaking, and saying things like allegedly and stuff, like tongue in cheek, like all of that'll be gone. Forget about our rights to bear arms and everything else. I mean, it'll just start with us being totally shut up. But yeah, it's really messed up. I know I was listening to his son and his daughter, they were saying that, he was in solitary confinement when he got arrested for like the past 5 years. He lost a ton of weight. He's got all these health problems. I mean, he's an older man, so, those might have just been on their way anyway. But, diabetes, blood pressure, they're saying like his fingernails would change color and they're like falling off, and, teeth are rotting. Like he's deteriorating. And a 20-year jail sentence is just wild. But, that's, and this always been kind of like the fight of Hong Kong to kind of distance itself from the tyranny of China. And it's just like, and then you think of Taiwan and all these other places that they're just like, they want China kind of to stay out of it because, what they do over there is extra. But, he had a chance to leave too. They were saying when he knew that the CCP was going to come for him, but he decided to stay. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of like, it's funny to me that the anyone in UK government and parliament would even be okay with this kind of thing when they're always pushing the most progressive things that we're over here going, what are you guys doing over there? What are you doing? And then they're just allowing this, and they're still going to play ball with China while this is happening. So it's like, you guys, you don't even really stand for anything. Like, there's not that you not, and I don't have to agree with it, but it's like, if you're going to stand 10 toes down on things that are putting your citizens in danger because you're saying that it's a means to an end, then be for real all the time. Don't just pick and choose when it works for you, because then now I don't even respect you, like what you're saying. Like, I can hate what you're doing. I can think it's totally barbaric and crazy, but at least I'll respect that you're consistent, and you don't have that anymore. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he gets. I don't know if they can make some kind of deal for him. It's really sad.
It is.
Yeah. But there's some happiness, some cheering going on in NYC. They might be coming to some kind of agreement.
Yeah, so this is from ABC7. The nurses at Montefiore, is that right? Montefiore, Mount Sinai Hospital Systems reached tentative agreements to end strike. So New York, nurses at the Montefiore.
Yeah.
Montefiore, okay. Okay. And Mount Sinai Hospital System said Monday they have reached a tentative agreement to end their strike as it enters a fifth week. So approximately 10,500 NYSNA members at Montefiore, whatever, Mount Sinai Hospital and Mount Sinai Morningside and West reached tentative agreements with their hospitals late Sunday, early Monday. Members will vote whether to ratify the contracts and return to work this week. So the deals kept safe staffing rules, protect health benefits, and protections against workplace violence, include limits on artificial intelligence and pay raise of more than 12% over 3 years. Union leaders say the agreements protect patient care and nurse safety after weeks of striking in harsh weather. The fight is something that we really had to fight for. We had to set the ground rules, definitely for the pensions, definitely for the patient safety. And I mean, we won a lot. We couldn't win a little bit more. That makes no damn sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. The nurse Carol McGowan said the tentative agreements apply to only 2 out of 3 hospitals involved in the strike. The 4,200 nurses at New York Presbyterian have not reached agreement and are expected to continue to strike. They return to the picket line on Monday. The key striking point in ongoing negotiations at New York Presbyterian is safe staffing, the union said. We feel the management has the capabilities to meet the staffing asks that we're asking, and for them to not get there when the other hospitals are able to get there. We just want to go back to work. So this was a nurse, Kelly Gibney. Officials with the New York Presbyterian said mediators presented a proposal to all parties on Sunday, and the hospital has just accepted it. It's not yet clear if the nurses will also agree to the deal. And I guess that's the end of that. So, I mean, it looks like a good idea. Hopefully they do resolve all that. I don't know. Some of these quotations are just
Yeah,
like,
I know they don't want to like misrepresent somebody who speaks, but like they get a little too literal with the quotes, and I'm just like, bro, can't you just?
well, when they get a quote, since I'm going to journalism school, well, not journalism school, but I'm studying mass media. I could tell you, you're not allowed to change a quote at all. You're supposed to put it exactly how the person says it, because you don't want to misrepresent or misconstrue anything that they have to say. But they could have picked some better quotes, man. These people,
I know.
like, I can see why they don't want to pay you. You're not the sharpest tool in the shed. Like,
yeah,
you will be replaced with AI pretty soon. And it's for the good of the people.
That was like one of the things. Yeah. So they want to protect their health benefits that hospitals were threatening to drastically cut. They wanted to have some provisions that protect nurses from workplace violence, protect immigrant and trans patients and nurses. This is something that I heard about, which I don't know what that entails as far as like part of a deal. I don't know what they're going to implement, but safeguard against artificial intelligence in their contracts for the first time. So that's the one thing that you were saying. Increase salaries by more than 12% over the life of the 3-year contract to recruit and retain nurses for safe patient care. On healthcare and safe staffing enforcement, and return all nurses to work after the ratification. I do know, because in the unions, if you don't work for a certain period of time, your insurance gets cut off. And I remember speaking to somebody who said that his wife, because I work in the medical industry, so that he said that his wife is a nurse and she's been on strike, so she lost her insurance. So that's something that you just kind of do, when you're doing something like this. But as far as like the staffing shortages, I didn't see a huge implication in New York. As at least in my purview, I did see some things where like the urgent cares weren't accepting appointments. You had to walk in, and if you were seen, you were seen. And if you can't get in there and you can't get into your doctor's office, because we're still dealing with issues even when the nurses were working, where you can't find appointments because we're just overly populated. It would spill over into the hospitals, and then a lot of the times it would spill over into where they need to come back to their doctor for follow-up. So that was kind of going up a bit. And people were saying, because they would be like, I know it's been long, I've been waiting for them to call me back, but I know there's a nurse strike going on. And I'm just, in my head, I'm going, yeah, this is not new though. Like a lot of these clinics are taking way longer to get back to people even before this happened. So I didn't really see like a huge impact, but I don't work in the hospital, in the emergency rooms. I mean, they were probably, dealing with it in there, which I can't really speak to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully they come to a deal and everybody can get back to work. And it's all this strike and stuff is just really crazy. I know we're kind of like at the end here, but I just wanted to say one thing off of this next post, which is really crazy. It's basically just like a statement. So from the New York Post, Sam Darnold, him and the Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. Insane California tax bill stunningly exceeds Super Bowl winnings, which is wild. Sam Darnold's big Super Bowl win Sunday night actually ended up costing the quarterback money. Because of California tax laws, the Seahawks star reportedly will owe more than the $178,000 he earned for helping lift Seattle to a 29-13 victory over the Patriots at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. According to Sportico, Darnold's bill to the Golden State will be $249,000 in taxes following Seattle's latest championship. The outlet stated the sizable check is due to California's jock taxes, which force pro athletes who don't live in the state to fork over percentages of their yearly income based on the number of days they work in California. The days have been dubbed duty days. And after the Seahawks touchdown in NorCal on February 1st, Darnold and the rest of his team accumulated 8 days total of playing in Santa Clara on Sunday night. The Seahawks expect to amass even more 2026 due to games they will play in the state next season. That Sportico report is why Darnold, who's the middle of a 3-year, $105 million contract with the Seahawks, will ultimately lose some $71,000 for lifting his first ever Lombardi trophy. Yeah. So
Wow,
it is so funny because
nobody's ever going to want to play over there. Like,
right?
Nobody's ever going to go. Yeah, they're never going to want to go. Like, oh, we're playing in California. Like, fuck that. 8 days, and they got to pay a percentage of their yearly tax, like their yearly income. That's ridiculous.
Right?
So California can't get like a lot of their big industries like fled the fuck out of there, and so they're going to turn around and be like, well, for a percentage, like this is how we're going to do it to get money out of people.
Like, and then people talking about the NFL being scripted, you know, the whole conspiracy theory. And if that is true and it is scripted even all the way to the Super Bowl, could it have been scripted to where they ended up? Well, no, that's not true. What am I talking about? Because I think that it doesn't matter who's playing. It's basically like who gets the Super Bowl. But I don't know. It just seems I don't even know, to be honest. It just seems like it's just so crazy to me that like they're always just like, oh, the wealthy never pay their fair share. But yeah, they're constantly getting bent. Like, you're right.
Yeah, they're getting bent. Like, bro, nobody's ever gonna want to go there.
And I don't want California to have that money either. So I think I'm just salty about that idea.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, yeah, that's a desperate state right there.
I know. They're just I'd be like, and then like, you know, he's all smiling and stuff, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. But anyway, he probably yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't care. I mean, he probably does care, but it's probably just like a small portion of it. So maybe it's not that big of a deal to him. But yeah, it's a ton of money. I mean, like for somebody like me, you and me, I'm just like, that's a lot of money, bro. Like, holy cow. That's like somebody's whole yearly salary that you're just taxing somebody just for being in a state working for 8 days. It's like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
And the fact that they can tax your entire yearly salary, that's just wild. But anyway, are you guys ready for the best part of the show? Bump us, Brian. It's captioned this time. That bump is so sexy. All right. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Yeah, this is the future, bro. I'm telling you. But if I start seeing robots walking around, like holding people's groceries and stuff and walking dogs, I'm out of here. It's happening, too.
Yeah, what is it? The new Optimuses are going to be like $50K or something like that. Elon says they're going to be available for purchase. We're fucked.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, this is so crazy. And I constantly watch Total Recall, like over and over and over again. I watch that movie constantly, and I'm just like, they were telling us, and we were just like, this is crazy. This will never happen, and here we are. But just in case you guys are new to the show, this is the game called Caption This, where we have an AI-generated photo. You see this up on the screen here, and we ask you, the audience, to please participate and give us a funny caption. And the funniest one, Dee and I will vote on at the end to see who the winner is. Caption This, baby. Yeah. That little like vest jacket though is pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think just the like, is he like downloading information into this dude's brain, just like where the light is hitting, like where it's touching?
Yeah, like it's touching the third eye, right? Like that thing right there.
I don't know. That's like he's like touching up all his chakra.
We're so doomed.
Reach out and touch someone.
I feel like, and this is getting I'm bad on my execution date for something I said in 2006. Yeah, AK. I mean, bro, and like it's all starting with like Discord, but is it gonna is Elon gonna implement something like that eventually, where every time you want to go on X or you want to like post something, you're gonna have to do facial recognition? Like, is it going to span out through all social media? I don't know. Domo
don't
arigato,
know.
Mr. Obata.
Yeah, it's so weird. I just
Why, yes, I am wearing Hugo Boss. We watched Total Recall again last week. That and Starship Troopers Double on Ironside. I love Starship Troopers too. That's a great film.
yeah, it really was.
I love all of the dystopian
Sci-fi.
and like sci-fi, like Johnny Mnemonic. That was a sick
Oh my
film,
god, that was such a good one. I love
right?
that movie.
I feel
Movie,
like so many
hit me.
people have never even seen. Yeah. That was a
Oh,
good
it looks
one.
like he enjoys that too much.
Yeah, it does look like this guy is downloading something and like the
Or
robot
maybe he's
came
like,
over and is like giving it to him in his head.
he's either uploading or downloading. I'd be like, make my bank account grow.
This is so
Give me
trippy.
all the monies.
Yeah, like yo, what happened to the cool hackers from the 90s? Like from that movie Hackers where they were like hack the planet. Like why aren't they out there trying to like do good for humanity? Like they all work for the freaking government agencies now. Like all the cool ones.
Well, I think because it was like a real thing with Anonymous. Anonymous was actually a widespread organization that was out helping people until they got cracked by the FBI, I think. And now whatever Anonymous is going around, they're saying, "Oh, we're anonymous." No, you're just a bunch of AI videos and some random dude in his mom's basement. I think a lot of those people got prison sentences, and either that or they were forced to go work for the government. So I don't think we
like either you go to jail or you work for us.
Yeah, I just don't think that we have hackers on. Not necessarily that we don't have hackers that are.
But like the access to code is a little different. Yeah.
But I just don't think that they're organized in that type of way and taking up that mantra of Anonymous, because that was one of the things that was so impactful about Anonymous was that it's like it was very, very rudimentary like organization, I think. So that they could get away with this kind of stuff and not get caught. So I don't know, maybe the top dogs never really faced any kind of repercussions for. I think they hacked like a bank or the government. They did something that was pretty big where they went after them. Yeah, so when I see like these accounts that are weird anonymous, shut up, man. Just enjoy using AI. And I'm not, hey, don't come after me. I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of the situation.
Right, yeah. We love you, mean it.
I didn't mean that.
Pug says, I was thinking, no, I don't want to. It's okay, I won't tell the other humans.
Uh-oh.
I don't think that's appropriate for sure, so. Yeah. My visual cortex is up here.
Oh.
It's funny. Stealing organic streams. Let's see.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Yeah, I like that one. Made me chuckle. I do like AKs though, because it really goes with
like the Doom theme.
Where the heck is it? I gotta.
Oh,
there it is. Oh, it's on Rumble. I'm over here looking on YouTube. AI bot on my execution date for something I said in 2006, because that's literally like what we were talking about, like worried about, is because you think about like you're creating all of these things, right? And then if the wrong people get into power, God.
Well, they're already saying
social credit scores and things like that in the future. Like implementing all these smart devices where you can't purchase things if you have a low social credit score and like all this stuff. Oh my God. That's where you just go right off the grid and you just, you just put out one of those lawn chairs at the side of the river and just hang out. Bro.
Better than what things might like turn into,
I know. We're
All
probably
right. So I
into the
say
second.
AK wins. I give it
Yeah.
to AK. Roma.
Yeah, yeah, I
Let's
agree.
see what-
Congratulations, AK. And thank you everybody for all your submissions all the time. I love it. Take a picture. I'll last longer. I'll still last longer. That's great. But yeah, great job, you guys. As always, I always say, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for coming and watching, chatting, chilling. Don't forget, Sunset Rants is on tomorrow night, 9 p.m., same place. And afterwards, it's the drive-in. So definitely, come out and hang out with everybody. And if you want to go to our website, riseofmiddleamerica.com, you can see all of our videos there, all of our socials, how to find us on the internet, ways that you can support the channel, either through merch or, PayPal link is there as well if you want to support the channel and help us grow as a network. But even just something as small as liking, don't forget, if you're in here, like on your way out, but like, commenting, that helps the algorithm, sharing it, whenever you can, that also helps, and so that way we can continue being out here and giving you the best content, growing better, bigger and better as the year goes on. We're hitting the, what is it, 1.5 years now? Like, we started in 2024. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's crazy because every time I see like the intro, I'm like, it says established 2024, and I'm like, oh yeah, like wow.
I'm in it.
Yeah. But and thank you, Dee. Always, I love co-hosting with you, girls. So thank you so much. And you can find us on X. I'm Elizabeth213A. She's Cynical Latina. You guys are awesome. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Love you. Night. Oh wait.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.